Hello. I would like some help, if possible. I will briefly explain that after 20 years of marriage, my wife and I separated 6 years ago. We have a 25-year-old child. During this time, we saw each other, but not very often. I made many attempts to get back together, but she kept saying that she should think about it. She was used to being alone. The last such attempt was last summer, but to no avail. I was sure that she had someone else. It must be normal after so much time. I have not looked for another relationship. A week ago I found out who she lives with, and I can't stop thinking about her 24/7, and I can't sleep. Something is twisted in my chest like a ball. I try not to think, to distract myself by watching TV, phone, but without success. I am already 51 years old, and I have no self-esteem. Friends tell me to find someone else, but I am very depressed, and all my friends are family, so how can I go out alone, whether to bars or other places? If someone else tells me they feel this way at this age, I'll probably find it funny. I never thought I could get to this point, but unfortunately it is. So if anyone can help.
First off, thank you for sharing this. What you're going through, it's a deeply human experience. And I want to get one thing straight right from the beginning. It is absolutely not funny. Not at all. The pain of a loss like this, it doesn't care how old you are. So let's kind of dig into what's really happening here.
You know, after 20 years of marriage, this person wasn't just a partner. They were home. They were a huge part of your identity, the foundation for the future you saw for yourself. And even though you've been separated for 6 years, it sounds like that emotional connection never really broke, did it? Hope kept it going. And what's happening right now with this new information, it's like that last thread of hope just snapped. And that's exactly why this pain feels so sharp, so immediate, like it's all happening for the first time.
So to really start moving through this, it helps to understand what's going on under the hood, the mechanics behind why these feelings are so intense. We're going to look at the psychology of what happens when a hope you've held on to for so long just vanishes.
What you're going through right now is something we could call late-stage grief. Think about the classic stages of grief, right? Well, for the last 6 years, you've essentially been stuck in one long stage of bargaining. Making attempts to get back together, holding on to that chance. But now, reality has just ripped that possibility away, and it's forcing you to feel the full, crushing weight of the loss all at once.
And this is so important. Those physical feelings you described, that ball in your chest, the sleepless nights, that's not your imagination. That's your body's alarm system going off. Your brain sees this final loss as a real, genuine threat, and it's flooding your system with stress hormones. So this isn't just in your head. It's a full-body experience. It's real.
And I really want to pause here for a second because this is so crucial. Feeling this much pain doesn't mean you're weak. It doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. What it means is that you loved deeply. This pain you're feeling, it's a direct measure of how much you cared. It's a testament to the love that was there.
Okay, so let's move into something a little tougher. We're going to talk about a few difficult but really necessary truths. Facing these head-on, that's often the very first step toward really healing and finding some freedom from this.
All right, truth number 1. This is about a small shift in perspective. It's easy to feel like she held you in limbo for 6 years. But if we're being really honest, the state of waiting was kept alive by the hope that you held on to. Now, this isn't about blame, not at all. It's about taking back your power, reclaiming your own emotional steering wheel.
And that leads us to truth number 2. For these last 6 years, even though the marriage was over on paper, you stayed emotionally faithful to it, didn't you? You didn't look for someone else because deep down, you were still invested in that relationship. And once you see that, it makes total sense why this news feels like a brand new open wound.
And the third truth, it's just so important to get this. You're not just grieving a person. You're grieving a possibility. You're grieving the future you always imagined, the comfort of knowing it could happen, and even the version of yourself that existed in that marriage. That door has now slammed shut for good. And grieving that is not only valid, it's absolutely necessary. Okay, so we've talked a lot about the why it hurts so much. Now let's switch gears and talk about the what. What can you do right now? Before we even think about the future, the number one priority is to calm your nervous system down. It's in full-blown alarm mode, and we need to turn that off.
Here's a super simple but incredibly powerful tool. It's called box breathing. Next time you feel that tightness, that ball in your chest, I want you to try this. Just breathe in for a count of 4, hold it for 4, and then, this is the most important part, breathe out really slowly for a count of 6 or even 8. That long exhale literally sends a message to your brain saying, hey, we're safe, the threat is gone. Do this for just 5 minutes. You'll be amazed at the difference it can make.
So, once you start to get a handle on calming that immediate storm, then we can start to think about the path forward. And listen, this isn't about rushing to get over it. That's not how this works. This is about being intentional. It's about rebuilding.
That feeling of having no self-esteem at 51? I hear you. It's a gut punch. But let's try to reframe it. The problem here isn't your age. It's not. The problem is a wounded dignity. It's the sting of rejection. Right now, your ego is screaming a story at you. A story that says you weren't chosen, that you're not good enough, and you need to know. That story is a lie. It is not the truth of who you are and what you're worth. So, what does rebuilding actually look like? Here's a simple roadmap. First, what to avoid. Stop checking up on her life. I know it's tempting, but every time you do, you're just picking at the wound. And avoid jumping into a new relationship just to feel better. Now, what to start doing? Start the hard work of truly accepting that this chapter is over. And instead of isolating yourself completely, start pouring all that energy back into, well, you. Pick up a new hobby, not to meet somebody, but just for the joy of doing something for yourself again.
And as you start on this path, please keep these things in mind. First, healing is not a straight line. It's messy. You're going to have good days, and you're going to have really bad days. That's normal. Second, the pain you feel. It's universal. It hurts this bad when you're 25, when you're 40, when you're 70. And finally, if this deep sadness and sleeplessness just isn't lifting, reaching out for professional help is one of the strongest things you can do. It's not weakness, it's an act of incredible strength and self-respect.
I want to leave you with one last question, and it's not something you have to answer right away. Just let it sit with you. Something to reflect on as you move through this. Is the pain you're feeling right now coming from the loss of love or from the sting of rejection? The answer is probably a bit of both, right? But gently, and I mean gently, exploring that question can show you so much about what you need to heal. And it can be the very thing that lights up the path back to yourself.